It's all in the light. Now, as soon as I do this, I'm changing the conversation, but that helps.
love this one because this one is about the ongoing story of all of us. Together during 1 week in Marrakesh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So excited. Welcome to day 2, the dynamic of design. So make sure we got the chat all okay. You're all here. Thanks for being on time, everybody. We got Nan here and Leslie, Holly, hey Rose from Chicago on Facebook. Lorraine, nice to see you from Australia, amazing. Tammy, Lucinda, okay, and Sin from New York. So great. I know a lot of you folks. It's just really special that you're here. I want to share a couple, there were so many good comments, and I get to read them after the presentation because I'm so busy talking, I can't always read them. I just want to share a couple of them with you. Nicola said, I thoroughly enjoyed last night, so much so I was unable to sleep at all last night. So buzzing with ideas and energy. So thanks for that. You've, in one simple lesson, shown me that I'm finally on the correct path. So good. And Anne, I feel hopeful and energized to use all of myself in making my art. Amy, somehow you freed me. I love this. You freed me by this teaching. It doesn't matter, just make a mark. It doesn't matter, it's just playing. So good. And this one from Patricia, I have to forget about the others and concentrate on myself. I have to trust what I feel and want to express, and that I can produce and create something original, something that no other person can. So good, so great. So, today's session, just so you know, it's going to go a little over an hour. I want to make sure you grab that workbook and get those writer-downers. Fill it with notes. There's so much here that's happening. And I want to announce the winner from yesterday's session. So Cheryl has won this amazing art kit. And okay. So Cheryl, just thanks for showing up live. Just please email our support team at info@art2life.com to claim your prize. And then for everyone else, don't forget that at the end of our session today, all of you will be able to enter for another chance to win this, but you have to be here live. And so this is the art kit. I'll just show you. It's the actual thing. It's really heavy. And I've taken a lot of the boards out. This board, these are the panels. It comes with 18 of them. It's got the palette, the tracing paper, all the brushes, and then the apron and all these Art2Life colors, many custom colors. It's all of them. It's all the colors we have. So it's pretty awesome. Okay. Okay, so we'll be doing that at the end of the session today. Okay, so yesterday, we dove into mindset for the first of the 3 pillars of making authentic art. Today, we're going to be talking about the second pillar, principles, specifically the principle of design. So today, you're going to discover not just how to amplify your art, but also your life. These principles do both. This session is about the principle of design, the first and most powerful of the 3 principles we'll be sharing this week in the workshop. So Changing the design is a simple and powerful way to change and strengthen your art, number one. Number two, the most powerful way to amplify your art, right, to make it more, your art and your life, is through the concept of differences. I'll be teaching that today. And discerning and curating what you love in art and life makes you come alive, makes you not sleep at night, right? That's what's going on. Without differences, without design, your art, it just kind of falls flat and it just goes unnoticed. People just like walk on by and it remains kind of unremarkable. And you can kind of feel that, right? We want to get this art at a higher level. So before we dive into design, I want to circle back to something many of you shared in the comments. And it was around this fear of making mistakes. I think this is the big one for right now. The fear of getting it wrong, of being judged, of concern about what other people think, especially about your art. But I told you the truth about it, that your intuition is rarely wrong, that we have to make mistakes in making art, those course corrections, you have to. But I know how hard it is to believe, especially when it feels like your credibility is on the line. So I was thinking about it last night, and it's like, what could I say? What could I teach him? And then I remembered what happened to me that got me over this one. So I thought I would share this story with you, because it was my first solo show in San Francisco, and I was so nervous about it. And the work back then, it was representational, kind of mythical, very symbolic. It was really serious, and I was really obsessed with making it seem really like deep. Each painting had layers of psychological meaning. I think I was so worried about not being taken seriously that I kind of over-indexed on meaning, you know? Honestly, I think I spent more time trying to prove the soul of the work than simply just making it. Anyway, it was like my entree into the art world, and I was just so insecure. The show opened, and not a lot of people came. They're mostly friends, but a few people did, and I actually sold, when I had 12 paintings, I sold one of them. But a few weeks later, the gallery owner, her name was Olga, and she had this really gravelly, no-nonsense voice. She calls me up on a Saturday, and one of her top collectors was interested in my favorite piece, actually, and it was this one. It was a painting of a zebra standing in the woods under moonlight with this kind of human figure on its back. The title was called The Crossing. And I had kind of written this little description up for the show, and it was shown with it. And this was basically what I had written, right? To give it more, give it more meaning. It says, the zebra stands at the edge of the forest, striped in light and shadow, embodying duality. On its back, a figure bends inward, not in defeat, but in recognition. It is a crossing. The zebra carries what we cannot outrun. Looking back, it sounds so serious. I was trying so hard, But anyway, Olga says to me, she has this collector in the gallery, and she's ready to buy it. And she's in the gallery right now. It's like Saturday at 2 p.m, but she has a question for you. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna sell this art. I was so excited. And then she lowers her voice and she kind of whispers so the collector couldn't hear. She goes, she only buys paintings with monkeys in them. Is the figure on the zebra a monkey? And what was so amazing, I didn't even hesitate. I'm like, yes, it's a monkey, right? Just like that, all my profound symbolism, it just went out the window. I just wanted to make the sale, but it was a powerful moment for me, and everything changed after that, because I was so worried about whether I was doing it right, so concerned about what people thought, and here was this really top serious collector seeing something completely than what I intended. And She was loving it for her own reason. And that's when I realized that people are not thinking about your art the way you are. They're bringing their story to it, their preferences, their quirks, their monkeys. What actually matters is what you feel when you make it. Not whether it's deep enough, not whether it's interpreted correctly, not whether you got it right. Your job isn't to control the meaning. Your job simply is just do the work and enjoy the process, and then just let it go out into the world. You know, there's so many false stories that we tell ourselves, stories that can hold us back from changing, from becoming more of who we are here to become. You know, I've been creative all my life, but feel like an imposter when I try to make my art. My sibling is the artistic one, and I somehow miss the gene. I need to keep doing this because this is how everyone knows me, right? We get our identity wrapped up in these stories. These stories, like, they feel so real, but they're not true. So today, I want to offer you something as a replacement of that unhelpful thinking. Something more liberating, something that is going to change not only your art, but your life. So this is about going to a new level of artistry. So type ready in the chat. Who here is ready to step into a new level of artistry? I love that you get that zebra story. It cured me, you guys. Totally cured me. Let me know in the chat who's ready to step into this new approach, this new level of artistry. Because it's a threshold. Yeah. Amazing. Okay, you guys. Good. We're all on the same page. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Holly. I see you. Susan, Deborah, Robin. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's get going here. What I want to share with you today is something I call differences. And this, again, it's not a thing I learned in art school. So today I'm going to begin teaching about how differences enhance your life, right? Okay, so, and then we'll get into the art part of this because it's the same. What we all really want is to feel more alive. This is a universal desire, doesn't matter where you live. Understanding how this occurs changes everything, not just in life, but in art. The human soul craves differences. It craves contrast. We feel alive. We come alive when we experience differences. Like if we're inside all day long and then we step out into the crisp, fresh air. A dark sky pierced by a comet. You know, think of fireworks. Cold river water on warm skin. An unexpected message from an old friend, right? Like your birthday, that day of the year that's different than all 364 other days. The bigger the shift, the more unexpected the turn, the more alive we feel. So I want to share a story, a powerful example of this. Years ago, many years ago, actually, I think I was still in college, my girlfriend and I decided to do a bicycle trip. And we kind of decided to do a really long one. We decided to do it across the United States. Because on a map with a felt pen, it just didn't look that far. But in reality, it was brutal. We started in California and we nearly quit trying to cross the Rocky Mountains. We were exhausted, sunburned, sore for weeks, but we kept going, right? We kept riding every day, you know, it was amazing. And about 2/3 of the way across, we chose Fryeburg, Maine as our final destination. And about 20 miles from the finish, we stopped at this little country grocery store. And we were in the cookie aisle as we were. We ate nothing but cookies on this trip. We're in the cookie aisle, and I remember noticing a woman down at the end of the aisle that was watching us. She kept staring at us, and we're really tan, really like wild looking, and helmets, and just our clothing was filthy. And she goes, what are you doing? And when we told her, we had just biked across the country from California, and we're standing in Maine, and we were just a few hours from finishing, her eyes lit up without hesitation, just right there. She wrote down her address on a piece of paper and handed it to me and said, "Finish your ride at my house. Go in when you arrive. I want you to finish at my house in Freiburg, Maine." So when we got there, we knocked on the door. She wasn't even home, but the door was open and we went in. And on the table were 2 fresh huckleberry pies that she had just baked. I mean, the trust, the generosity, it was so sweet. After weeks of grit and endurance, we walked into this little beautiful country home filled with the smell of warm pie and sat down on these comfy tables in the kitchen. And I will never forget that first bite. It wasn't just a pie. It was a pie made unforgettable, life-changing even, because of what came before that first bite. It was that contrast, that difference. Do you get it? Isn't that wild? Talk about enhancing your life. Think about things you love. It's different for everyone. Yoga, cooking, hiking, making art. But we all have different preferences. But I want you to notice something. What makes them so sweet is often what comes before or after. Like a tropical vacation feels extraordinary if you're in an office most of the year. Cooking a meal at home feels richer if you're used to eating out. And a long hike feels rejuvenating after a week indoors. It's the contrast. Where one thing meets another, that's what brings you alive. The little clue here is doing more of what brings you joy and intentionally placing it in your day goes a long way towards feeling alive. And feeling alive is essential when you're creating, especially when you're trying to create the art of your life. Now, here's the part most people miss. You can't always do everything all the time that you love. There's responsibilities, deadlines, short days, and long to-do lists. But even thinking about what you love creates an immediate shift in your energy. Your body doesn't know the difference between imagining something you love and actually experience it. The emotional signal still fires, which means, and this is so cool, you have a great influence over how you feel in your life. Where you place your attention changes your state, and your state, how you're feeling, changes what you can create. Isn't that amazing? So tell me in the chat, right? Like, what brings you alive? You see, it's so easy to forget what those things are, right? You just get busy and you overlook them and you start to lose momentum. And so we gotta stay focused on this. Write some of these things down in this workbook. What are those things? Is it a dance thing that you haven't been doing, right? Okay, so let me know, what brings you alive? Let me know in the chat. Yeah. Great, sunset on the beach, music, color. And by the way, music, these principles that we'll be sharing this week completely apply to music. It's all about coming alive. Okay, so here comes the fun part. I'm going to talk about differences, this contrast idea, as it pertains to art. Okay, ready for this? Okay, all right, so let me start. I have a teacup here, and I also have this letter R. So, and I just want you to know, like, which of these you prefer in the chat. Maybe I'll go like that. You know, there's no right or wrong answer, right? Remember yesterday we were looking at the paint. Some might like the letter, some of you might like the teacup. It's your preference, it doesn't matter. You don't know why, you just feel it. Like these are kind of cool together, but you know, you'll like the teacup more than the letter R. You just feel it, so that's important. Okay, so, but now, okay, now watch this. If I put the teacup next to the giant letter R, oh boy. If I put this, oh boy, everything's backwards. Okay, if I put this, hold this giant letter up, okay, there's this giant letter, and now I have this teacup here, you can see there's a giant contrast between these two. And the teacup feels more like a teacup, right? Because it's this tiny thing now compared to this letter, this giant letter. And the letter feels huge because it's next to a tiny teacup. Alone, they're interesting, but together, they're more powerful. And the reason this works, the reason this setting this up of these differences, it's because there's contrast. Now check this out. If I hold this back together, notice how the R doesn't feel as exciting now with this, right? Like it's kind of, not that different. It's contrast, you guys. And when we can see the difference, that difference creates energy. That's design. Okay, and that's kind of a writer downer. Design is the arrangement of shapes in the picture. That's it, right? It's what you see when you look at the painting. But strong design is the arrangement of a variety of shapes in the picture. So check this out. If I paint some shapes on here, okay, and I put them in different places. What you're seeing here is design, right? This is just some shapes on the picture. Okay, so I have these three shapes. But if we look at this picture and we look at this rectangle, it has a certain feeling. It's like a teacup, there it is. And then we go and we look over here, we have the same experience. It's like and then we go down here and we look down here and we have kind of the same experience again. They're kind of the same. There's a same about this. These are the same size shapes, right? But it's design. But if I want to make the design really good, if I want to strengthen the design, I mean, it's got a design right now, but if I want to strengthen it, I have to create differences. So check this out. I can make one of these much bigger. And now as I'm doing this, you guys, watch how you start to like it better. I mean, this is very, very simple, but watch how this thing becomes more interesting. Okay. I am going much bigger here. Now we have this really large shape, and we have this shape here. Now let me change this. I'll make this shape smaller. Do you get it? Do you see how interesting that is? I'm looking at it right now. I'm going to make this even smaller. So we've got something really big and something really small and kind of a medium. This is strong design, right? Nothing really happened. I just changed the sizes of things. Size is a very powerful thing to remember in your art, to just change the sizes of things. You're going to notice things that are bigger, but it's that large thing next to the small thing. And watch, it's going to get even more interesting when I bring in something really small. Look what that did. Do you get it? Okay, so I just changed the size here. This is like the low-hanging fruit of turning something into great design. Okay, so now, I just changed the size here, but I can also change the size and the shape, right? We have two things. Okay, so I can have the same little shape here. So there's one's, it's a square, right? Now I can take but instead of doing a square over here, I'm going to do something else. Right? And they're pretty different. And I can add a different shape down here. So I've got a square, right? This is a square up here. And I hope you're realizing that this is not necessarily, this pertains to, this could be a barn up here, this could be a redwood tree. In your art, it doesn't matter what the things are, they're shapes, right? So this is not like abstraction, this is for realisms, anything, any kind of work at all. But this has kind of gotten a little more interesting, right? Why? Because I changed the shapes. We got a little snowflake thing, and we got this little square thing, and we got this little circle, and the shapes are different. But now, if I change the size of these things and the shapes, they're going to get even better still. So check it out. I'm going to So now I've got something really large, this rectangle shape that's really large. And I can make this smaller. And it's so quick. Look at how quick I can improve things. So I've got different shapes here, right? I can make this even more unique. I can kind of add some strength to it, make it a little bigger, right? I'm making this, right now I'm changing this how I like it, but I'm looking at everything. I'm changing things in relationship to each other. This little world over here, I want things to be different from each other, to optimize them so that those shapes are exciting to look at as a little group. Each picture you make is like a little collection. So I have, I'm going to make this is the star shape. Come in here. And you see, I'm just doing this really fast, but it's pretty quick, and you can see it from across the room. Right? Now, check this out. I can add another thing that we don't have very much of, like a line can come in here. Right? We don't have one of those, right? Do you see how it starts to get really interesting? How quickly? Because everything is different but related. That's strong design. It works in painting, photography, writing, garden design, even plating food. These aren't rules, they're principles, and it applies to everything in art. They're universal. Now, here's the deeper layer. Design isn't just visual, it's emotional. So watch this. If I start by accessing a part of myself, because we all have different parts of ourselves, right? Like, I'm a pretty messy person and I go pretty quick and I paint kind of crazy, but I also can be really careful. So I'm gonna connect to that part of myself and I'm gonna make a mark on this picture that's really careful. So I'm getting this felt pen, taking a breath, I'm gonna go real slow here and I'm gonna try and make a real straight line, okay? You know, and I have to concentrate and I'm gonna come down. I'm being really careful. And I do this workshop every year. That's like the best straight line I've ever done. But that's a straight line. And you saw I had to kind of like really focus on it and concentrate, right? We do this in our art. We're careful. But what looks so good is bringing a different emotion, a different part of myself to this. That's what's going to make it really different. So the opposite of being controlled and careful, drop into the other aspect of Nick is being more wild and crazy, right? And you see how powerful those two things look together, those two different emotional states. You can feel it. You have to feel it. For me to make that kind of mark, I have to like access that part of myself, like, right? And I gotta be really careful. I gotta be really loud, and I gotta be really quiet. We need all of you in this. You know, loose, wild, right? Big, messy. These two marks next to each other, it's electric. It's because they come from different emotional states. Control next to freedom, restraint next to abandon. That's the contrast. So the writer downer here, okay, so the invitation here, if you only paint carefully all day long, after a while, you kind of get stuck, you get bored. I know you might be good at a certain thing, and great, we do that, but the desire for you to be different and do something new, your soul always wants that for you. It doesn't care if you're really good at something. It wants you to do a new thing, something different. And eventually you kind of get bored with doing the same thing, you know, the same. If you only paint like a wild man all day, all long, things can start feeling really chaotic. You need to have both. And great art shows all of you, more of you, right? There's a vulnerability, but we want all of you in it. The careful part, the wild part, the messy part. When you hold back, the work just feels safe. But when you allow this contrast, visually and emotionally, the work comes alive. Design isn't about perfection, it's about differences. And differences is what makes everything, including you, feel alive. So, to make your art amazing, you need to show all of you. That's the invitation. There's a vulnerability, but this is what's so important. We have to show all of you. Step up into all of you. That's a great writer downer. So, let me know in the chat, what differences in your art are you excited about? What differences in your art bring you alive, right? Let me know in the chat. You guys are worried about the black paint falling on the carpet, I know. But that's the thing, you gotta let go. You gotta let go sometimes. It's so powerful. Let me know what differences in your art bring you alive. And I want for you to start taking notes. Write this down in the workbook. Because this is what you've got to start tracking. This is what you need to show more of. Okay, I'm gonna, great design is in all great art. And that's why it's great. So I want to show you some slides of just some different artists, right? Like I've been painting these squares and stuff, but it's just quick and simple diagram to show you. But notice what I'm going to show you now. I just grabbed some different art. This is a picture of Henry Miller. And they're just very childlike, beautiful. But notice that the shapes are really different from one another, right? And there's some big ones and small ones, little black stars. Like they're so fun, aren't they? It's a whole world. And they're all made up, but they look good together because they've been all made in consideration with each other. There's different, like the sun has a different quality than the red horse, a different shape, right? And they're all sprinkled around the page. This is Georgia O'Keeffe. We love her work, but it's this design, these differences that make it so tantalizing and so dynamic. Look at the sharp, pointy edges of that in the middle section, and then the soft, kind of rounded shapes. All those shapes, they're all contrasting, they're all different. And when you put it together, it's electric. It's like a storm in the middle of the mountains, right? Like this is a picture of that, but it feels like it more, not because it looks like it, but because of the way she's using design. It just and we can feel this in our souls, right? It just is so powerful. This is a picture that a good friend of mine, Noah Woods, did. And and totally different, by the way, but I just love the shapes, Look at that, the big shape of the cat and the fun little like musical notes and the butterfly. There's little shapes here and big shapes. If the cat was as big as the butterfly and it wouldn't be as interesting. We need the scale. We need this giant letter R in here, Frida Kahlo, more representational. The principle of design still works. Look at the dark bird, that size of that bird that we see, that tiny little palm-sized, delicate hummingbird on her chest. And then we've got these big black areas that turn out to be that cat and that monkey, right? And the shape of her hair, right? And the branches on her dress. This is just a plate of food. When you go to these fancy restaurants, the reason they're fancy is because they're paying attention to design. And by the way, people will pay a lot more for this kind of food. They'll also pay a lot more for art that uses design, right? This is just design. That's why it's so appealing. We love the little dots, right? We love the little specks of the little red dressing and the tiny little darks and the lights. And I mean, who wouldn't want to eat this? And it makes it taste delicious. This is Basquiat, and like, wow, right? That face, like you can see it. There's a smaller version of it right in the center on a piece of paper, and he just did one really large. Can you imagine if he hadn't done one giant monster face on this art? Like the scale of that next to all the little sketches, I mean, it's mesmerizing, right? It's just incredible to look at. This is Karl Blossfeldt. He's an amazing photographer. He used to take it was just nature, and he would stage the beauty of nature. Nature is design, and it's always good. Look at the variety of just those leaves, the small points, the curves, the straights. I mean, it's exquisite. It's a painting by Russell Chatham. He's passed now, but I was fortunate enough to become friends with him, and his art is amazing. This, I believe, is in Montana, but this is a landscape, but it's the proportions of things, the big, vast, open sky, right? And then the dark shape. It's just a dark shape, the smaller dark shape going across the middle with those little smaller dark plants, little trees, those smaller shapes. It's the combination of big things and small things and differences all put together that make this so, so captivating. It feels more like this than even the place does. That's the power of being an artist, understanding how to take something from life and make it even more, feel it so regular people can experience and feel it. Okay, so I'm super grateful to have Margie Thompson joining us remotely today. Her work is, is so good. By the way, all great art, you guys, has strong design in it. And Margie Thompson's art, who's an Art2Life coach, is no exception. So I thought, I'm going to bring Margie on, and she's joining us remotely today. So we're going to have a look at her work, see if we can get her pulled up here. Margie is a friend as well as an amazing artist. She resides in Washington, in the United States. Her work has always been inspired by nature, and it lands in that sweet spot that lies between abstraction and realism. Margie is a CVP alum and member this year of the Art2Life Coaching Team. So, Margie, can you, let's try and pull her up on the screen. You're gonna love this work, you guys. It's totally strengthened and by leveraging design. Okay, so
hi, Nick.
Let's see if we can pull it up. There we go. Yay. Hi, Margie.
Well, so nice to be here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is such an exciting week.
Oh, I know.
Love this week.
I know. And I'm having you pop in on this call because you're one of the artists that I think of that just really uses design. And so I thought maybe let's have a look and see so people can see some of her work. I mean, check this out, you guys. So this is all really recent, right?
Yeah, this is kind of the newest ones that I just finished up for that show in January that I did.
Oh my God. Okay, so let me just take us back a little bit. Before that, you kind of you're one of these artists, like you're just taking off. But before that occurred, like, how did you break through? You use design so beautifully. Did you always have that, or how did you learn that? What changed for you? How do you think about it? And when you started doing that, I mean, I remember the work just got really amazing.
Yeah, I started out, painting little paintings, little tiny backyard bird paintings, and and you get to the point that you get kind of tired, or there's something more for you. And so then I decided that what I really love is I grew up in the back door of the Olympic National Rainforest, and trees and nature is really very much part of what I grew up with and what I love. And then starting to want to portray that. And the first ones I did, I started out with kind of portraits of trees, and that really didn't get the feeling that I wanted. And I just really wanted to show how I feel about nature, and what do I love, and what makes me happy when I'm in the forest and among nature, and the little tiny things and the really big things, and the feeling of depth, and that so how do you start doing that? And like the epiphany moments where I don't have to paint a brown tree. I can paint a blue tree. It doesn't have to be like what people think of, it's what I want to show. And so all of a sudden it's like, wow, I can have a red tree, or I can have pink things in the background, like this painting. And, and that just amplifies and shows what I love so much. It doesn't have to be so contained to exactly what nature is.
You're pushing the differences here. And I just, like, looking at this picture, I just see, I mean, look at the variety of shapes, right, in the picture here. Go back one more, Daniel. Check this out. Like this one especially, you have this big blue shape at the top. And this is different for you. Like you've got this just millions of little kind of dots, and then it's like you're really pushing size differences here.
Yeah. And, and once, I kind of realized it's like, I'm painting shapes. I paint shapes, but it's like my shapes just happen to look like trees or like mountains or whatever, but they're still shapes, and it's, you know, that organizing them in a way that they you know, have impact, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, it's about amplification, you know. How do you push design, right? Like this one's amazing. You know, how do you, like, there's that big dark shape up at the top, you know, that you just made, this huge dark shape. It's just perfect counterpoint to those lighter open areas with the smaller, right? Like the bigness of things. And I'm sure, I mean, you know, this looks realistic, but I'm sure you're taking a lot of liberties, right?
Oh
Pushing these
yeah.
differences.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I broke free from, you know, painting from any kind of photograph, and it's all just comes from, you know, just what appears to me as I'm creating these works. Like, you know, the painting behind me is one that's is in the very early stages of its development, but it's right now it's all about organizing these shapes and how to make them be, you know, different, and how to, you know, create things that are interesting so that the eye isn't moving, you know, too fast through the painting, that there's, you know, things to stop and pause and look at, and how do you do that? And it's a lot of experimentation to try and figure it out, and it's a, you know, it's part of the journey that we go on once we
Yeah.
start thinking about what it is that we want to share with through our art. You know, what is it that makes me happy? Well, I love the way the light comes through the forest, and so that was one thing that I've sort of been adding into the work more and more, is how not necessarily true shadows, but just
Yeah.
the idea of a shadow and how the light kind of dapples
Oh,
through it, and how it might come through the trees, and how backlit works, you know, depth and those kinds of things
yeah.
are interesting to me. So those are the things that I want to also try and share.
And I just want to say that, you know, when you guys look at it, I'm seeing all the comments, you know, love it. Wow, wow. The reason that we love it is, and this is important for you to understand, is that we're experiencing her art, but really what we're getting, the feeling we're getting, is of Margie going going after what she loves. That's why this work has this energy. She's zeroing in on it, and she's amplifying it. She's making it stronger so we feel like the colors that she loves and all of that. So that's just something to remember. If you're feeling like you're not free, people won't feel that. We want people, when they see your art, to feel the state you were in when you were doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It's
painted a painting with a big blue tree, that I was told, it was like, wow, you know, I see the tree and I feel it. And then I realized that you've painted it blue.
Yes, right, right. No, and nobody's saying, hey, what are you doing painting purple trees? We just say, yes, please, can I have more? Listen, Margie, thank you so much for sharing this. It's just amazing. It's so great to look at your art, and I just want to point out that the reason we love this work and work that's great is because it makes us feel alive. And that's the feeling that everyone craves. And this occurs in art and life because of differences. When we experience differences, it moves us. It's emotional. And it's our job as artists to push the differences in our art by leaning into the emotional range we have as human beings. You guys, in a minute, we're going to drop into the Bloom session. You know, we're going to do what we did yesterday. It's so fun. But before we do, I want you to watch actor, dancer, and theater artist Depthi Ornatella. In this quick performance, she's just beautifully reminding us of the emotions of the human experience. And it's these same emotions that can inform and strengthen our art. So check this out. Wow. So are you starting to get the connection, the importance of feeling? It's where we start when we endeavor to make the art of our life. And it's where bloom starts. So get some of your art materials, some paper. It doesn't matter. Any kind of materials is fine. And doesn't, we're just going to be playing here. But before we begin, I want to say hello to my friends and artists here. Kate and Nadine and Inza are joining us. But also, remotely, we have Amy Bond that is joining us from Philadelphia. Hi, Amy.
Hi, actually, I am in Colorado right now.
What?
So,
Okay, you moved.
No, just taking a vacation, ski vacation.
Oh, okay. All right, great. Well, thanks for being here. Amy's a guide this year with the Art2Life Creative Team. And so again, you guys, this is just playtime, and Amy and all of us are going to be doing this. No plans, just experimenting, not trying to make anything. There's no wrong way to do this, right? And the clue is to sort of track this and feel good in it is just when you're feeling free. That's what we're practicing. So I just want to do a little quick review here of these of bloom here. And you can see there's those steps. We're going to do this in a minute where you're feeling and opening and playing, right? So we're going to drop into that right now. So I want to, put your stuff down, and I want you to just take a breath and just let it out. Just what you're doing here is you're just letting the outside world go, and you're just getting into presence. You're just feeling present. And you can feel however you're feeling, how you want to feel. If you want to feel, you can think of something to make you feel a certain way, or just feel how you're feeling. Like I'm feeling this real deep calm. And I can just feel that. So you were going from our head and we're just dropping down. And it takes a minute, but you can just drop into it and just let a breath in and let it out. And we can open to this feeling even more by imagining a portal, a doorway deep inside of ourselves with that feeling. And we can open it and go out into that feeling, be surrounded by that feeling, and just feel that feeling even more. And then when you've got it, when it feels like you're swimming in it, you can open your eyes and hold that feeling and just choose the materials, the marks that feel like that for you. Again, it's just an intuitive decision. You're not trying to make anything here. I'm just going to start with something that's calm. And that for me is this blue crayon. So grab something, and we're all going to kind of get going on this right now. So we'll kind of ping pong around. I think for me, it's the ocean, it's like this flat, it's horizontal bands, right? Now we have Inza over here. What are you doing? Are you doing collage today?
I had the image of water is flowing over me, wash over me. I had this sentence coming up, wash over me. So I imagined a riverbed, and I make myself now the riverbed.
Oh my God, okay. And also something that I tend to do a lot, like the calmness is also the pace at which I'm working, like just going slower. Sometimes the way we put on the paint or the way we make the line can make us feel that way. And this is going to be very different than what I did yesterday. Every day, every time you do this, you're going to discover this new aspect of yourself. You're going to see it. Ooh, that looks good. Is that, Amy, that's cool. Boy, it's great to, oh, this is good, the split screen, I love that. I have an awesome team that's helping here, and I just want to express my thanks for making all of this possible, you guys. This is no small thing to just do this. It's just beautiful. It's really inspiring to see, you know, to see differences, to see what other artists are making. I mean, we can never make their art, but the closest we can get to it is, you know, it's like looking at Mark. I could never do those paintings, but I get to kind of experience it when I peer into that world by what she's making. Yeah, this feels just right. You can tell when it feels right, you know? Oh, good. Elizabeth is loving this session. Fantastic. George is saying hi to Kate and Nadine. Eve, hey guys.
Hi, Georgia.
All right. What are you working on, Kate? So what's the feeling here that you're connecting into?
Well, I think there was quite a lot of talk about freedom, and so it feels a bit like an adventure. But I actually started by writing some words down that came.
Oh, that's good.
And it was something someone said to me. It says, "Your wings have your back," and it's a lovely saying. And it just came to me when we were sitting here, thinking about spaciousness and freedom and adventure. And so I thought I'd just write. It will get covered up, but it just sort of puts the sentiment.
That's a good thing, you know, to just write words down like that, you know. What are you working on, Nadine?
I am playing with paper today because I love it. So I'm doing collage. Today my feeling is more about exploration, that sense of excitement that you have when you feel like it's like discovering something new. So I'm not really sure what the word is. I know what the feeling is, and I think it had something to do with the materials that I chose today.
Oh, yeah.
So these papers feel almost like, I don't know, they're the bugs, I think, were really inspiring for me, and it just felt like exploring or doing something new and different. So I'm just going to see where it takes me.
Yeah, it's kind of great. Like you can find things in your life, you know, just receipts and things you find on the street and old pictures, and they have so much feeling, right? Things you pick up, right? Start paying attention to what brings you alive out there, you know, on the sidewalk. Like, oh, I love that little chewing gum wrapper, you know, with that beautiful color, and like gather it up and bring it. You can glue it in, like put it into your pictures. That just instantly brings a feeling into the work.
I like things with words on them too, like Kate wrote them in, and I was looking, I had this little grand exhibition. It feels like that's what today feels like, right?
You know, it's interesting. I just grabbed this red crayon, and I'm putting it on here, and it is such not the right color. And I just want to say, you'll do that. You're just like, oh, I'm just not thinking. I grab something, and I start doing that, and it's like, no. No. And so it's okay to just stop. Just stop. That's the whole point. Just like, no, that doesn't feel right. I don't know why. I don't have to think about it, you know. And I'm just gonna, like, red's not the thing for this picture. It's too intense, you know. So I just kind of cover it up, like, right? These are the course corrections. There's no mistakes. We're just feeling our way forward.
Oh, I like that.
Ooh, nice paper.
I like how I can see through the paper to what's underneath.
Christina says, all of you guys rock. So we appreciate that.
It's very rocky.
I know.
So Catherine, you know, she's saying, I can't quite get into the present, right? It's because we're thinking about stuff, right? So just drop in. The beautiful thing about making art is that when you're making it, not sitting here trying to figure out what to do. That's not making art. It's not making art when we're thinking back of the art we used to make. It's when you picking up the brush, and the brush comes along, we're still thinking, and as soon as it hits, and as soon as you're making a mark, that's the doorway.
Yeah.
So my advice for Catherine, for getting more in the present is just start. Just watch what happens. Just put the mark. Just start making the mark and just get interested in what's happening. You cannot not be present when something's happening. It's like someone coming up to you and clapping in your face. It really brings you to the present. And being in the present is exactly where we want to be for making our art. That's why this is easy and it's pretty fun. I'm not worrying about, the fact that the leaves on the driveway are staining it. I'm not doing that. I'm in this. And that's where we get to feel completely ourselves. Maybe just for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but we're free. And when we're free, it's the best version of us comes out. The part of us that's going to grow, that's going to develop and be able to, like, the artifact of being this version of you, the artifact is great art. It just comes with it. It's kind of amazing.
No, I need to change something.
So keep rolling with this, you guys. If you're at home, try taking some different materials, right?
Yeah,
That you haven't used before.
You could do collage with a glue stick or anything. You don't have to have like a medium of any kind. So
Yeah.
you can just tear up papers and you don't need much, right? I love these polka dots. They're so good.
Yeah, they're happy.
They're happy.
Happy.
Yes. I need a little paint, I think, maybe.
I like to use credit cards.
I gotta turn my book.
And we all love silicon.
Yeah.
Great invention.
Amy, tell us what you're working on.
Yeah, so it's funny when you said you were feeling like a calm or peaceful. I have this nervous energy and I'm working very fast because, we've been cooped up in the car for like 3.5 days driving out here.
Oh my God.
So I am ready for like outside and the mountains and this.
Wow.
They're having a lot of snow problems this year. That's why I added some white to hopefully will the snow to come.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, and it's so inspiring by where she's at, right? Colorado feels like it.
Yeah, it's interesting when I am in Mexico, I'm usually there in the winter. I leave here where it's cold and rainy, and I go there and it's warm and open. When I make art there, it all is totally different. Like it's a different thing because of my environment and just how I feel. I'm painting in bare feet for one. That changes everything, You're in England and you can relate to that, right?
That's only a couple of months of the year.
Yeah. So that's a great idea, if you want to shift what you're doing, you can change where you're doing it. You can change, well, just go outside or bring, flowers in where you're painting,
Well, and it goes back to that feeling, right? So when you're in Mexico, you have a different feeling. It's free, it's calm, all the things like. And when I go home to Canada, right now, it's snow. We're snow and we're cold there. It's beautiful, but it's very different from being here where I'm looking out at the ocean and the palm trees.
Yeah.
So, but I can imagine being here. I don't have to physically be here.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we've done it, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll treasure the memories.
Yes.
Yes, yes, totally. And I know that I'm seeing in the comments, Jen's like, I'm in my head, and I'm having trouble connecting to so it's so good. It's such a worthwhile thing to practice, right? When you say, I can't connect to how I'm feeling, this is so good that you're learning this.
Yeah.
There's no way you can do art unless you're the great art comes from being really connected and really dialing that in. So if this is, if this is working where you're wow, it's a little hard for me to drop in, this is the entry point, and so good that you're practicing it, and you get better at this over time,
Definitely gets easier.
Yeah. These colors, and here's the thing about this, you end up using colors that you never use. I'm going for this feeling, I abandoned the red, which is what I always grab, but it just didn't jive with how I was feeling. So I changed it. And now I'm in this wild thing of these colors, this green and this sort of brownish, light. It's just, this will happen. You won't recognize your work. And you'll be surprised at the things that happen when you're doing this.
I love these bugs.
Yeah, watercolor's great because it's so, you can just flow, right? So for those of you who are just a little kind of feel hamstrung, just make some marks. That's it. The body loves it. Just make some marks. That's the doorway in.
Yes, and don't be afraid to cover something up.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
always cover things up.
Wow, that's looking great.
It's like going from one expression to the other.
Yes, right. Just, layering on top, covering
through
things on
the
top.
wildness and the stillness
Yes.
and the
So good, you guys. Amazing. Yeah, isn't it, Cheryl? It's great to do this with other people. I'm so glad you're watching this and experiencing this at the same time. And what's cool is you can do that. This is not hard. It's because you're not trying to prove anything here, and you're just expressing how you're feeling. And you can do it. You can talk. You can look around.
You can dance.
You can dance, right? Okay, good. Hi, Juanita. Nice to see you here. Okay. Jennifer's saying sometimes all I can do is scribble. You can get really good at scribbling. That doesn't, just do it. That's it. Just go do more of that.'ll be like a professional scribbler. Seriously.
And it's
Just
such a good way to
follow-
get
Yeah,
going, get
just-
that sort of energy.
Yeah,
And sort of,
yeah.
the natural scribblers.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So listen, you guys, I know I'm keeping an eye on the time here. Before we go, I want to make sure that we have, we're going to, for our giveaway, right, the art kit. And all of you who are here, thanks for staying. But I just want, you can enter this for tomorrow's giveaway. Just tell us in the chat while you're working, what do you want to amplify in your art using design? What is it that you want to do in your art using design? Let us know in the chat. And when I'm saying that, I mean, is it let us know in the chat. And tomorrow we'll be pulling a winner's name out of the hat each day at the beginning of the live studio training. So just come tomorrow and show up live, and then you can, again, tomorrow you can enter the next day's art giveaway. Okay, good. All right. Oh my God, there's so much here.
Cats. Queer. Oh.
And for those of you in the Facebook group, absolutely, answer this, what do you want to amplify in your art with design? Yeah. Depth, yeah.
Joy.
Movement. celebrate differences, emotional.
Confidence.
Isn't it crazy, you guys, like, that art, like, of course it has to be taught from the felt place first. That's the thing here that we're doing, and that's what's different. That's at the root of this new approach. All right, so let me just summarize today that we covered that principle of design and how to make strong design. And I did that little circle back to that mindset shift of being not so concerned about what other people think. We learned about differences, you guys. This is so important, how they bring us alive in our art and life. And again, we're using the bloom practice here to get our art going, really just directed by our feelings and listening to our intuition. And just remember, your intuition is the voice of your soul. It's where all your amazing art and life originate. Okay. So tomorrow and each day this week at 6, in the morning at 6 a.m., I'll be emailing you that intro video about the upcoming day's live studio. That will, that's going to be at 12 p.m. every single day. Tomorrow we have the value of value. It's a huge day all about the powerful art principle of value. And I'll be showing how to use value, just like design. You're going to use them together, but tomorrow's value, and I'll be showing how to use this to amplify your art even more. We have more guests, more art making, more giveaways, and it's going to be an amazing day. So I can't wait to see you there. So bring your art supplies, fill out this blueprint, complete those notes. We have more information coming tomorrow. We're in it now, and these principles, the next couple days, we've got color coming. They're going to be a game changer for you and your art. And so I'm just really super excited. And of course, one more thing, we'll be meeting with the VIPs today at 2 p.m. So I'll see you there. And if anyone is interested in upgrading to that VIP, reach out to my team at info@Art2Life. We've had some questions about that. But I will see all of you guys tomorrow. And thank you so much for being here. And we're just going to kind of keep making art. I encourage you to just stay in this for a while. We are. All right, you guys. Thanks for being here. We will see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.